Hello, hello, hello. I am Lady Renee Thomas James, and welcome back to the Vineyard of Wellness, the journey of being mentally, spiritually, emotionally healthy and well. Hello, 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 darlings. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Before I jump into this podcast, let me just remind you that if you are not already following me on my socials, I am on TikTok and Instagram. I'm also on YouTube. If you are listening to this from your podcast streaming platform, I'm on YouTube at Lady Renee Thomas James, Instagram at Lady.Renee Thomas James, and TikTok at Lady Renee Thomas James. Also Pinterest, if you're on Pinterest, at Lady Renee Thomas James, or it might be Renee Thomas James. With that being said, hello, we need to catch up. First of all, how are you doing? Wherever you're listening, feel free to let me know in the comments or leave a review to tell me how you're doing. How is your heart? How is your soul? Are you filled with joy? Or is it that, Renee, I could be a little bit happier these days. I could be a little bit more joyful these days. How are you? Now, let me answer that question myself. How am I? I didn't record for 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, I did not have an episode. And y'all reached out. Y'all reached out to say, girl, we gave you a week. It's been 2 weeks. What's going on? My apologies, and I still owe you a vlog. My apologies. I was in a little bit of a funk. I was in a little bit of a low place. I also took some time off to go see my husband in Detroit. He works outside of province. If you're listening in the United States, it means he works outside of the state or out of state. And if you are listening from Jamaica, it means he works outside of the parish, right? So I went to see him with the kids, and that was last week. And it was just that break was needed. Before that, no, that week before that, I was just in a funk. I was just like a girl could just not get her head straight. And that is okay. That's okay. If you find that you're in a funk and things are just not adding up in your life, it's okay to step back and say, you know what? I need a break. I need to take 2 steps backward in order to take 1 step forward or 2 steps forward or 3 steps forward. But you need to take a break from just, the daily hustle and bustle of life, a break from maybe technology. I will go into an episode about, tips on how to get yourself out of a funk. But that's what has been happening with me. Went to visit my husband, connected a little bit, had a good time with him and the kids. So if you know me, you know that's where my heart is, and refueled my system. With that being said, a few weeks ago, after I posted both the questions for the journal prompt questions, a few people reached out to me to say, Renee, these questions are heavy. These are heavy hitting questions. I've had to, just sit back, do some soul searching, and I find myself writing just pages and pages and pages of answers to your questions for the journal prompts. If you haven't already listened to those episodes, you can go back. They are on YouTube, as well as they are on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Go back, journal prompts, questions, and while you're listening to them, you can have your journal to write your answers and stop in between. Now, but you can go after this episode. Listen me out on this episode first. So a few people reached out to me and like, okay, Renee, those were heavy hitting questions. And I like those questions. However, I don't know where to start with these goals. And I'm like, I think maybe 3 or 4 persons said that to me. And I appreciate your questions. I appreciate your reviews. I appreciate your feedback, because I do not want to pour, into you and you're not receiving what I'm pouring. That's number one. And number two, which is even more important, you are why I am here. So if you tell me what you want, I'm here to give it to you, as long as it is within my capacity, knowledge, and understanding. That's why I'm here. So with that being said, a few of you said, Renee, I've written down pages and pages and pages of answers to these questions, but how do I get on track, or how do I get back on track? And for some of you, it's how do I get started, right? Now, with regards to goal setting, I like goal setting because number one, it tells me where I want to go. Number two, it tells me where I'm at. And number three, it tells me the things that I need to do to get to the point I would like to get to, the point of where I'm going and where I would like to go. And lastly, it helps me to analyze where I've been, where I am, and the process. And y'all, the process isn't always easy, but if you are, as much as possible, value that process, because that process is where you learn. That from that start point to the goal point is you have a lot of lessons to learn in between those points. So people are like, okay, how do I know where to start? Like, help me to get started. So today we're going to look at the different types of goals we're going to set, or we can set in our lives, and how to get started. And my notebook looks a little bit different. Don't laugh. It looks a little bit different from this one, this week, because this one is where I fine-tune things, and this is the raw deal. The raw deal. So yes, this is where, yeah, if no matter where I'm at, I have this with me because I need to grab it to jot down whatever it is that it's my head, so that I don't go crazy, number one, or I don't forget, or I don't get anxious. I put it on paper. So the different types of goals we can set in our lives are, I'm going to give you about 8. Spiritual goals, family goals, family and marriage goals, finance goals, health goals, social and community goals, creating goals if you're a content creator. If you're not, then leave that alone. Personal growth, development, and lifestyle goals. Now, as an individual, you're going to ask yourself, and these are, some of them fall under personal, some of them fall under career, some of them fall under, like social goals, and social could even fall under personal, right? So you're going to ask yourself, what type of individual I am and who do I want to become? And I can tell you, I can give an example. For me, I am probably one of the most beautiful persons inside that anyone would ever meet. With a little bit rough on the edges. I'm also, a certain type of mom, wife, and individual in terms of I like setting goals. I like crushing my goals. I like achieving certain things. I like a certain lifestyle. I like peace of mind. I like my space, be it mental, spiritual, emotional, psychological, to be clear and filled with positive energy. I like for my spirituality and my walk with Christ not to be tainted. And your spirituality can be different from your walk with Christ, as well as they can be together, right? So I set up goals in different areas. And the first one we're going to talk about is your spiritual goals. And I'm going to intertwine this with, for me, with my walk with Christ. Now, I'm going to intertwine it, but I'm going to separate it a little bit as to not confuse you. So your spiritual goals can be, if you are not a religious person, it can be, who am I spiritually? Who am I, mind, body, soul? Who am I, my mental, my soul? Who am I as that spiritual being? What do I exude? Do I exude positive energy? Do I exude positivity? Do I exude enlightenment? Do I exude a dark light, or do I exude a bright positive light? So if you're not a religious person, you can look at it from that perspective. What, as a spiritual being, do I exude? Now, from a religious perspective, that's for me in Christ, I look at it from the perspective of, how do I want to represent Christ in these here streets? How do I want to represent Christ for the people around me? And something that I have been told, and we are not going to cry today, Renee, something that I have been told, and I give God thanks. Give me a second because the tears are not going to fall. Is that no matter which community I have the opportunity to talk to, be it ethnicity, be it way of life, be it sexuality, people tend to say that you seem to come with zero judgment. You seem to come as a person that loves people. And rarely that is found in Christianity. You do have people like that where, they just love people and love and accept people for who they are. But you find that a lot of times, being a person in Christ, people oftentimes come with judgment and not knowing. And I'm happy that I'm able to break that down for somebody to be able to meet people where they are, love them for who they are, and not what I or who I think they should be. So for my spiritual goal is always, always, always to exude Christ, not for what people say or who people say he is, but for who he is through me and to people, for who he is, like love first, love first, love first, and judgment, if any, through me, because it can't be through me. It's not going to be judgment through me, but judgment last and left to him. That's not my job. My job is to love people, appreciate people, try to understand people, to see people, right, to validate people, right, and to say, you know what, we may not be on the same page, but nonetheless, I love and appreciate you. I love and appreciate you. So that could be a spiritual goal for you if you're a Christian, as well as you can look for other spiritual goals as well, right? Other spiritual goals could be how often you pray, your daily motivation, your daily devotion, how often you read your Bible, your meditation, your worship, your solo worship, right? It could also be journaling, your feelings, your emotions, again, that spiritual part, right? If you're not religious, but your feelings, your emotions, what's happening with you today. And even if you're a religious person, I would also advise that you journal, right? We know this. Practicing kindness, showing love and appreciation. All of that, you could say, I want to be this person who is loving, appreciative, and not hateful. Now, as it relates to family and marriage, that is the next one that we're going to. Family and marriage in that category. For me, let's say you're a single person. Family and marriage, family could be checking in with my family ever so often, be it your mom, your dad, your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins. It could be. Now, if you're someone who's going to say to me, Renee, I have no connection to family, I would first ask why, or why is that so? And, we would have to get into that deep conversation. But hopefully you have access to family and you're able to set goals to say, you know what, I might not want to be super close to my family or relatives, but I at least want to check in. Or I could do better at my relationship with my relatives. Now, if you do have an immediate family, for example, you have a spouse, you have children, a goal could be to be closer to your spouse, to be closer to each child or your children, to have family night, get-togethers, to ensure that you have family dinners, be it 7 days per week or 3 days per week to ensure that we all gather around the table. Y'all, I'm still yet to really put my foot down on everybody eating around the table. I need to keep my feet like planted on that one, because I do think it's a beautiful thing to have the family around the table more than just once or twice for the year. So that could be a goal for you. Now, the next category could be finance. Now, with your finances, you could be someone who is not knowledgeable about finance, and you probably want to seek financial education. Me, every year, every day, all day. Like, the more you know, it's the more you want to know, and you want to make your money work for you. And the truth is, if you don't know what you don't know, you just don't know. You're not going to be able to multiply that money or to make that money work for you. And you want to put yourself in a position to make your money work for you. And the truth is, the Bible speaks about, being a good steward of money. And Lord, I'm determined to be a good steward over my money. So you could have that as a financial goal for financial education and better money management. You could also have career goals, where are you today and where you'd like to be tomorrow, or, a year from now or 5 years from now. I'm in this type of job. Do I want another job in another field? Am I going to have to go back to school? Or I want to become an entrepreneur. Do I have to go to school to learn a skill for the type of business that I want to go into? How do I prepare for that? So you can set goals in that area. In career, where am I today, and where do I want to be 5 years from now, 4, 3, 2, a year from now, right? Where do I want to be? Also, with regards to health goals could be, how healthy am I today? What are my meals looking like? What is my daily movement looking like? I work on that daily. Let me tell you something. I have healthy meals and don't want to move my body. And I work on, my mindset as it relates to moving my body daily. I also follow people online who moving their bodies just seem to come naturally for them, in terms of, they want to work out daily, but not to the case where it's just toxic. The toxic people, in my opinion, like fit people, is like, okay, gym, and there is nothing else. There's no room in their lives for anything else. Like, 7, 8, 9 hours at the gym. I'm not going to follow that person. But I do follow, and I think this is Nikki online. She's on my profile. What's Nikki's handle again? She changed it recently. I don't remember. I have it in the show notes, where she is a woman, my age group, where, she seemed to have a balanced lifestyle where she includes her fitness, and I like to see it. I'll follow a few other people as well. Can't remember anyone handle off the bat right now, but oh yes, Patrice Washington as well. She also has, a decent balance where it's working out, work, and family. So I like that. So that could be on your goal, moving your body some more, eating better, eating well, juicing a little bit more. As it relates to health, seeing the doctor a little bit more. If you prefer to go to a naturopath, or not, someone who would prescribe natural, herbs, or a natural way of life for you, that's also under health. If you want to go see a practitioner or general practitioner to talk to them about your health, that would fall under health as well. So however you see health, or your health goals, you might want to say, all right, I'm at X weight today. I would love to be at, 30 pounds, 20 pounds lighter in a year. I've always been told by our fitness gurus who prefer to go the healthier way, look at your weight over, 3 months, 6 months, or a year time span where you're able to lose weight rather than 5 pounds for the week. You're looking at a pound and a half to 2 pounds, and you get to your goal weight in a year or 6 months or 3 months. So that was something to note. For me, another category is content creating. Simply, that is just, Renee, oh, what are you going to put out? Like my podcast, it's once per week. How do I ensure that I keep up with this without getting burnt out? Or like what happened, the other day where I missed 2 episodes, how do we eliminate that from happening? And of course, that is batch creating. That's what we're doing today. That is what we are doing today, darling. So that was one thing, right? Category could be personal and lifestyle, right? You know what type of lifestyle you want to live, right? How I don't want to seem conceited here, and I don't want to put words in your mouth either. But like the type of lifestyle you want to live. How do you want your house, your surrounding to look? What do you want to eat on a daily basis? A lot of times I put my meals on Instagram and people are like, oh my God, that is literally, 90% plant-based. How do you do it? And I'm going to do a series on how I do it on Instagram. I need to do it. Renee, hold yourself accountable to this one. Where I came from a home where it was primarily plant-based, my mom, right? Because I oftentimes say we couldn't afford meat, but we could afford veggies or cheaper meat kind like liver, saltfish, chicken back. I did say chicken back, and that stuff. And we left, the more expensive meats like, pork and beef for the end of the year. So meeting Marlon, that's when I met Marlon. Marlon is like Marlon is a carnivore. A carnivore. And that's when I really started eating more meat and then started gaining more weight. But then going back now to a plant-based or majority plant-based diet wasn't hard for me. It was harder for me to implement it to the family because they were used to being carnivores. And my husband was not for the whole, plant-based thing. So what I did was introduce one meal per week, or I would have a vegetarian Tuesdays, or vegetarian Tuesdays or vegetarian Thursdays, or meatless, Fridays, something to jazz it up, like a meatless meal for the week. And I increased that to 2 days and then 3 days. And then right now, we will have meat, but I literally have like 2 or 3 pieces, small pieces, and then they will have, a healthy looking plant-based meal with some meat. And I'm not mad at that. So your lifestyle, what lifestyle do you want to lead? Even though you may earn on a budget, your budget is short, you might want to say, okay, how often do I want to go out to eat, or go out to watch a movie, or just to sit in a park, read a book, do a picnic by myself or with a loved one. It's doable on a budget. I'm telling you. Coupons. I've been in situations where, money, we were going through, rough patches with money, and I was still able to have the lifestyle of the family not drop too much, because I looked for coupons. I looked for ways to, give my family what they want without sacrificing too much. So you can look at that as well. What type of lifestyle do I want to live? I would oftentimes say I contribute a lot of, my way of life or my lifestyle to, this is going to sound weird, to how I keep my bedroom. And that's the truth. I try to keep my bedroom, from ever since, receiving and welcoming of comfort, of between me and my husband, of just like us feeling for each other. and just like, you know, luxurious for us, like what we consider to be luxury. And I find that when I wake up and I see that, I want my other spaces to reflect the same and my life to reflect the same. I will also say that, you know, the little things about, you know, going to do my nails, doing my hair on my own, you know, what do I want to wear? What does that look like? Can I do that on a budget? And trust me, you can. I did my nails about a week ago, and my nail tech said to me, I love her loads. Really, I haven't seen you in 5 weeks. 5 weeks, Renee. And let me tell you something. I used oil on my cuticles to stretch that nail appointment. 5 weeks. I wasn't aware it was 5 weeks. I thought it was about 3 or 4 weeks. But she's like, Renee, 5 weeks. And when I looked at my calendar, it was actually closer to 6 weeks. So you can get the things, and not to say that nails are your thing, but if you do your nails on your own, maintain your manicure, maintain your pedicure, maintain, you know, your feet, your hands, your skin, all of that, it helps you mentally. It does. You might be wondering now, but how, Renee? Try it. Just try to have the lifestyle that you have in your head. Tell yourself that it is doable on the smallest budget. Okay, so with that being said, I hope after listening to today, you are a little bit clearer on the different areas in which you are able to set your goals and achieve them. You can set yearly goals, you can set daily goals, you can set monthly goals, weekly goals. For your yearly goals, or, you know, and up, like 3-year goals, make sure that you have an accountability partner, that you're able to look at those goals, you know, every month, every 3 months, and then yearly, right? To see where you're at, do an analysis of, you know, where you're at, where you want to be, and what has been done already, and where you can improve. On your daily goals, it could be as simple as reading for 20 minutes, walking for an hour, half an hour, 45 minutes. It could be texting a friend, saying hello. It could be limiting your screen time. It could it's endless. I could go on and on and on. But thank you for listening today, and let me know in the comments below if this has helped you a little bit with, you know, how you can set your goals and achieve them. Don't forget to follow me on all socials at Lady Renee Thomas James, and on Instagram at lady.renee Thomas James. Thank you for watching, and if you're listening on podcast, thank you for listening, and until next time, have a beautiful day, evening, night, or whenever you're listening. Thank you, and bye-bye.